Hello everyone, I am Naresh Sharma and I am here to talk to you about anxietybuster.net. Now, basically, anxiety is a feeling of unease, such as worry or fear, that can be mild or severe. Everyone has feelings of anxiety at some point in their life. For example, you may feel worried and anxious about sitting in an exam or having a medical test or a job interview, or you might just have generalized anxiety from issues that have been going on. So, essentially, the problem is anxiety. The symptoms are anxiety, sleep difficulty, drug withdrawal, anger, stress, depression, frustration, trauma, interpersonal relationships, lupus attacks, even not feeling joyous or suffering migraines is a problem shared by many in society. 80 to 85% of any given population suffers from these, partly due to our reptilian brain. Now, what will happen if these problems are not taken care of immediately? Then you can plan to have very large medical bills in the future to cure the diabetes that might develop, the heart disease that might develop, hypertension that might develop. Some people even have suicidal thoughts and they may even act on it. Obesity, unemployment, bad relationships, and one might possibly even get a psychosomatic form of cancer, which is very expensive to treat, and undoubtedly you'll be miserable during your cancer. Now, the bad news is that your reptilian brain is working, but it's working against you. The good news is that your reptilian brain will work for you, to experience bliss and bust the anxiety. Get rid of the anxiety in an instant. Now, fortunately, no medicine is required unless you consider bliss to be a medication. In order for the body to release bliss into our system and body, we have to breathe up to that state. The Tibetan Buddhists call it climbing the mountain of bliss. Once the bliss is acquired, it becomes medicine for all psychosomatic ailments. The bliss has all positive side effects, no negative side effects like of medicine. And one can always increase the volume on the joy and bliss that they feel. A lot of people tell me that they are already blissful, but I say, well, you can just increase the volume on your bliss. This is not some philosophy, but a technique to achieve the state of bliss and get medication to feel well-being and feeling fortified without actually having to swallow pills which have all kinds of side effects. One drop of bliss in your body is enough to make you feel most awesome and disease-free. What else can experiencing this bliss technique do for you is quite an individualized experience, but anxiety, stress, depression, etc. are gone in an instant as a byproduct of living in this state of bliss. Now, after graduating from this famous psychology lab at University of Iowa in USA, I got a chance to set out my own practice and provide therapies to clients and benefit to clients and patients of various ailments. In the search for the one technique, I combed monasteries and different ancient schools, studying their therapy methods, noticing that monks were always without anxiety on their faces. I studied at Tibetan Buddhist libraries in the Himalayas to figure out the secret. After much research, I found a therapy that was used by ancient Tibetan psychologists, and they were nice enough to be very sharing and caring with me, and they allowed me to experience the technique. Finding that the technique worked as long as one followed the directions, I started using the technique on my own patients and clients. I almost exclusively now started using this technique alone for instant healing. Instant healing. I help thousands of patients. My colleague suggested to me to digitize this technique and offer it to the world so they could also experience the benefits. They said it was incumbent upon me to offer the fruits of my research to society. Through the magic of internet, my clinic brings to you this one technique. Solution to all psychosomatic disorders. This technique is no longer locked away in some mountain monastery and reserved only for a few monks. And it is our pleasure at our clinic to be able to bring this to you through modern technologies so you too can feel free and feel freedom and start living a joyous life. I've got tons of testimonials for you for people that have tried it, and you can see a before and after image and you will totally like it. Now the special offer in my clinic, I charge $100 to $500 a session depending on the problem to deliver this technique, but due to economies of scale and deployment capabilities that internet provides to us, we can offer this to you for just $19.99. You can use this as often as you want. You'll feel the difference in the very first time. You'll get the technique and have access to videos on how to use the technique. Now, bonus technique I want to give you along with this offer is that for a limited time, we also want to offer you an additional therapy technique found in the monasteries and practiced by monks. This is the gazing meditation technique. Through this technique, one gets a high amount of concentration and performance power. This is great for students and people who have to keep their mind on completing different tasks without letting their mind get diverted. This also improves eyesight and the quality and softness of your eyes. The Tibetans claim that it can also give you higher powers. But that is once again an individualized experience. You can have your own experience, however great it may be. That's fine. But this is your bonus therapy that comes with this technique. Now ask yourself, when do you want to end the suffering? Yesterday is not possible, is it? And wanting to end the suffering tomorrow is not wise. But today and now is always the best time to end the suffering by taking this medication and this technique of bliss and climb the mountain of bliss and see from the mountain of bliss how great everything is and how clear you feel. Bust that anxiety and get started on this technique right away.